Two mates, one obsession, cars. We're here to talk, drive, and occasionally bin it in the name of automotive passion. From dream garages to the latest car news, this is the Ditch Finders Podcast. Feels like it's been ages.
Yeah, it's been a month.
Since a normal episode.
Since we weren't actually professional for a change.
As professional as we tried to be anyway.
Mm.
It was good.
It went really well.
It did. So for those that are just tuning in to us, or haven't watched the episode, we got very lucky, didn't we?
Mm.
We got an awesome opportunity to, for lack of a better term, interview the CEO, Daniel Davey, and the CSO, Mark Tapscott, of Longbow Motors.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say X, we're biased, but it'd be worth, if you're listening to this now, I'm quite proud of what we did.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're quite critical of everything we did. We tried to produce something that's, we're quite proud of what we do and want to be self-critical and want to produce something really, really good, and we can scrutinise, and we have done, and overthought it.
Mm.
But ultimately, I think we did a good job, mate. We've had some really good feedback, and I really enjoyed it.
The fact that it all recorded and synced up and went through was as good a start as we could have.
Yeah.
And then I think, the questions we asked, I think they admitted themselves were good questions.
You're right, that was nerve-wracking in itself.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it recorded, we got all the audio, and we had quite a tricky setup with it being remote to be able to still get good audio quality on our side. And I think it went as smoothly as it possibly could. And yeah, mate, I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's the first interview, hopefully of many.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
It's quite a high calibre of clientele for the first interview.
Yeah, not kidding. And for them to get in contact with us as well was the coolest thing.
Such cool guys.
The way it came about was, as part of a lot of the episodes, you'll pull together a bit of an agenda, or one of us will pull together an agenda of what we're going to talk about, or we'll just ramble on. This is a bit of a ramble episode.
Yeah.
But you'll pull together some talking points, some topics. And one of them, under the news section, was a new British sports car EV brand, Longbow. And so all I did, and I said in the clip, was I searched for them and went, oh, hello, this looks amazing. And then I said, and then I saw it was EV and I couldn't care less. And we proceeded to roast them about putting Duracells in the car and why can't you just put an engine in and all these
when
things.
You say we,
okay, you indulged me.
I was thinking it, I wasn't saying it.
We'll have to look back at the clip. I think there was something self-deprecating on your side too, but either way, TDF, I'm including you in this, somewhat naively roasted them for being EV. As a result, they kindly got in contact with us and said, in a nice way,
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we can change your mind. I think, first of all, if we're going to dive straight into this, did they change your mind?
Yes. I think just by the fact that I'm excited to hopefully, they said hopefully we can come and view it. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to hear what journalists think about it once they can drive it. Yes, it's an EV, but there was the way they were answering the questions very confidently. Sounds like there's a lot to uncover still.
There's a lot more to come.
And they're coming at it from a different angle. They're not just these... They're bang on with the weight. That's a huge thing. I know a lot of the problem people find with EVs is the sound, but actually the driving dynamics of a new EV, because they're so heavy, they're just trying to make up for it with clever engineering, right?
Yeah, like you said, trickery.
Yeah.
Even in non-EVs, even like you were saying in the new M5.
Yeah.
If we talk about the fact that an M5 of the 90s, for example, weighed 1.5 ton, and what do you say, adjusted for inflation, costs around $80,000 or $90,000. And nowadays that's 2.5 ton and $130,000 or whatever it is. It's absurd. It's crazy. And so, like you were saying, you have to have trickery from a physics point of view to overcome that for it not you not to feel an extra ton of weight.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is quicker, but quicker doesn't necessarily mean better.
No.
You can technically only go 70 miles an hour up to on a UK road. So the thing for me was, and we talk about soul in EVs, the lack of soul, and the interesting perspective, and it doesn't necessarily apply just to EVs, and it makes sense if we talk about these new M cars in comparison to E46 M3s and soul and character. These things, not necessarily whether it's got an engine or a motor. It's the manufacturing process, the corporate nature of how the automotive industry is today is what's making cars devoid of soul. Not necessarily because it's got an EV motor. And he was saying that the manufacturing process, the way they're being manufactured, the corporate structure of the entire industry is the issue. And I think what really got me was how passionate they were and confident in saying, look, if you came to us and said, build the best sports car possible, we believe we can do that with EV.
Yeah.
Or the way to do it is with EV.
And they're petrol heads themselves. They wouldn't just say that for the sake of it, you know. You can tell they genuinely believe that they can create a better sports car with EV.
Yeah. And bring it on. Because another thing is, it's been a pretty pessimistic world when it comes to the automotive industry as petrol heads. And any cars coming out now that we might be interested in are limited editions, are low numbers, are crazy expensive, or you have to be on a list. Otherwise, no chance, mate. You have to buy the box standard model or the hybrid model or the EV model. And so this, for me, is hope for the motoring enthusiast. The only caveat for me, and Mark somewhat admitted this, is sound. We've just been out for a spin, haven't we? Sound's so important.
Yeah.
So important. And they said that they can do some clever things. Again, things that haven't been done before with EV. And there's some interesting stories and caveats with sound and things that have been used in movies from like the Tesla Roadster and that sort of stuff. So can you still... That's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm now convinced that they can create a sports car as good, if not better, from a driving point of view, than an ICE. I'm convinced. I am, and I'm really looking forward to following their journey. Where the only thing where I think they'll fall short is sound.
I mean, how do you do it? How do you compete with a combustion car in terms of sound? It's going to be a compromise, even on a car like that with a philosophy like that.
But is it going to be a compromise that you're willing to take when to get similar driving dynamics, or maybe not even as good driver dynamics, you've got to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds to get a sports car, an ICE, whereas for 65 grand, you're going to be able to have arguably one of the best handling and driver-focused sports cars ever made.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those trade-offs that, okay, do I just want to stay pure and not own it because I'm never going to be able to afford it? Or do I just give in on the sound? And to a point, because by the sounds of things, they're going to do some cool stuff, that it's not going to be giving up everything from a sound point of view to be able to have a sports car. It's, okay, give up that bit and we'll give you everything else and some. Bring it on.
Yeah. And, you know, not just the Speedster, not just the Roadster. Sounds like they've got long-term plans, and I think the supercar I would be very interested to see, first of all, how that would look, the supercar model. But obviously, they've got to start somewhere, prove it with the Speedster, bring in the Roadster.
Then do they turn that into a 2+2?
That's right.
Coupe?
Yeah.
Then followed by a supercar.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So I would be very eager to get my hands on one of those and see how they do drive and how the rest of the car makes up for the sound, because you just can't replicate that.
It's those two as well. I don't know about you, but I kind of believe in them.
Yeah.
Just listening to them, they convince me.
Yeah.
I think they're the right people to be doing it, and I urge anyone to go and listen to it, just to have a different perspective, because afterwards I felt so naive and somewhat stupid on my previous comments after speaking to them, and I quite liked being proven wrong. Might not be the right way of looking at it, but educated,
that's the word. Yeah.
And definitely had my eyes widened.
Yeah. But at the same time, most new electric cars, electric sports cars, electric supercars are bad, are heavy, are completely compromised, and that's why you had that reaction to it.
Well, up until this point, that view is proven right.
Yeah,
every
exactly.
time.
Yeah, and it still is everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we haven't seen the car, we haven't driven the car yet, but like we say, the philosophy's there, and if it ends up being how they describe, then I think it will.
I think the fact that they're going physics first, driver first, comments like, what does a sports car driver or enthusiastic driver want and need? All of that goes in, everything else.
Well, that's the advantage of being a startup, right? They were saying about these corporate sausage factories that everything gets signed off by 10 people, and it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about profit.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously these guys are there to make money, but they're there to do it out of passion and finding a gap in the market where they're more agile and able to exploit these little quirks that the big hitters wouldn't take the risk with.
But it does make you think, why haven't any of the others done it properly?
Mm.
Because you see this EV rollout and drawback to some point, and it's because from their point of view, and the question, which was very well answered of, well, how frustrating, all the things they talk about with what it's capable of being far better throttle response and the torque and the weight balance and the overall feel of the car driving it is far, far better. In their view, everything they can do with an EV, they can take all of these advantages. Mm. So how frustrating is it for them knowing this can be done?
Yeah.
And rather fantastically answered, or frustrating enough for us to start our company. Just get better than that, doesn't it?
It's, yeah, like you say, they said all the right things. They've got the business strategy down in terms of what the product needs to be. And yeah, I wish more people were doing it.
I'm just so glad they are.
There doesn't seem to be.
All the elements that I dislike about the automotive world, they're kind of tackling and being like, almost like it doesn't have to be this way.
Mm.
And you don't understand why all these manufacturers have gone down this route.
Mm. And I think us car enthusiasts and petrol heads I think we're all holding out a little bit of hope that we're going to be able to keep having these new petrol cars forever. And it just isn't going to happen, is it? People say synthetic fuels and we'll find different ways, but there is going to be a point where we have to go to either EV or some other type of propulsion.
And it seems to be all those things come at a cost, so it's not accessible for everyone. And I think a really good point that they made was a sports car should be something that's usable, accessible, attainable. Nowadays, they just aren't. Mm. And it made me want to celebrate the GR program a bit more. The fact they are bringing out driver-focused cars at 30-40 grand isn't celebrated enough, I don't think. Mm. I mean, don't get me wrong, they haven't gone under the radar, and they are celebrating. It almost won Evo Car of the Year, that GR86, and the GR Yaris did really, really well.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad. But no one else is doing that. We've lost pretty much all of Nissan's sports car range. Porsche basically aren't producing sports car at the moment because they don't know what they're doing with regards to EV, with the Boxster Cayman. All these and normal brands, everyday brands, had sports cars, and they're just getting few and far between, to the point where now they're just producing these specialist sports cars or supercars, and they're crazy expensive or so expensive to run. And it's just like, what's going on here?
It's a bit scary.
Everything that's going SUV, we need a comeback.
Even just like saloons. Bring the saloons back.
Bring the saloon back.
Yeah. It's a bit bleak.
A little bit. But this, for the first time in a while, gave me hope.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong, 65 grand is still a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm not going to be placing an order, unfortunately, but
no, not today. But this is early days, isn't it? It's their first attempt at a car. In theory, hopefully they can get it down. Yeah. But if you say 65 grand for the most driver-focused car on the market, driver-focused sports car, shall we say, doesn't seem like bad value.
No.
When, chances are the EV Boxster Cayman's going to be 80, 90 grand. If you really think of the way that cars are going.
Yeah, at least. Wow.
You would imagine that the cheapest Audi e-tron is 80 grand? 85 grand?
$8,000, yeah. And that's what a 2-ton job.
And the rest.
It is one. This was going to be in the news section, and I know Nissan Micras aren't the first car you want to talk about on a Enthusiast podcast. The new Nissan Micra has been launched. The bigger battery model, Nissan Micra.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger battery model is 1.5 ton.
For a Nissan Micra.
A Nissan Micra. Clues in the name.
What does a normal Nissan Micra weigh? A combustion engine Nissan Micra?
I mean, the older ones, you wouldn't think much more than a ton.
You wouldn't, would you?
It's like getting on for 50% extra weight.
Let's do a...
And I get it, there's ever tougher homologation that you have to go through to make the car safe and structurally sound and cameras and everything.
Yeah, but then you get these guys that are producing a sports car at 895 kilos.
So it can be done and still be homologated.
Here we go. A 2020 Nissan Micra, so a fairly modern one. 1,080 kilos.
Yeah, there you go. So it's almost 50% gain in weight because it's got a little battery in. It's probably a bit of a bigger car as well, but
mental.
It's just any portion of the market you can just pick and choose, and you can just take that example. And
okay, let's look at. I saw a new John Cooper Works Mini electric. What do you reckon that weighs?
Electric.
Yeah.
What does the normal one weigh? The older one, 1.2, 1.3 tons, probably 1.3. Well, that would be over 1.5 as well, wouldn't it?
1,725 kilos for the new electric one, whereas
that is a lot. 1.7.
Yeah,
I would have thought the old one's 1.3.
Doing it in pounds, I can't do the conversion in my head. It weighs 1,220 kilos.
Holy shit. 500 kilo gain. Imagine just putting that in your boot. Getting an old John Cooper Works and put 10 50 kilogram dumbbells in the boot.
That's like getting your John Cooper Works Mini and putting like 7 or 8 of us in there.
Yeah. Just crammed in the boot.
You feel it when you just have a passenger, a 70, 80 kilo passenger.
Yeah.
You know,
one passenger. Yeah. It's scary, mate. So,
yeah.
Everyone buy a longbow. Because that's the only way you're going to...
Please, everyone take a leaf out of the Longbow's book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's more of a message to other OEMs.
I can't wait to see them pull it off. I'm really confident they will. I can't wait to see it. I really hope we get to see it and have some cool access.
Yeah.
But yeah, whilst we're here and talking about it, I want to thank them again. I want to say thank you to Mark and Daniel because you gave us a really cool opportunity and we had a bloody good conversation.
Yeah.
And it was good fun.
Thanks for the enthusiasm and giving us a chance. We're not the biggest podcast in the world.
Massively so. So yeah, hopefully we can do it again. We can give you guys an update when more and more stuff comes out.
Yes. So I think I'm right in saying the last 4 episodes have been like trying something different, right?
We've tried to mix it up.
We've done a tier list. We've done a bullshit episode with no agenda.
Yeah.
We've done the interview.
Yes.
And we did one other one. I can't remember what it was.
We did a Q&A.
And so we're reeling it back in a bit, going a bit more standard. So we've got a new section. We're going to do ugliest car designs, which I've wanted to do ever since the start. I've just something about, because it does kind of rile me up, but I quite enjoy it at the same time.
It does beg some questions.
And then we've got a question from one of your friends.
We have. And then you've got a Dream Car Garage.
I do.
have no idea what
which I haven't told you yet. You should have your answers pretty swiftly, I think.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
You want to do the news first?
I
I
will.
haven't got much in the way of news, so this is going to be led by you.
You never have news, do you?
No, just...
This is like a group project when that guy just turns up and he's done nothing. That's you every week.
Okay. I'll still try and contribute.
Cool. I will go through some news in Tom's absence.
Last time this happened, we ended up interviewing a CEO and a CSO of a car brand, so don't knock it.
I'll make sure I won't miss anyone out. Any new OEMs that are coming up, I'll mention them. So I saw a story a couple of weeks ago. Like I say, it's been a month since we've done our last news episode, so there's probably quite a lot to cover, but I will zoom through it. So I saw a story a few weeks ago about Lotus. They're kind of following the trend of going. They had an EV regime, and they're coming back to propulsion. Probably hybridizing some of their models. It'll probably be more the SUV stuff.
Okay.
So they're kind of doing a bit of a U-turn as well with a lot of the industry.
Are they doubling down on the Emira?
So the Emira, they've just launched an SE model.
Yes.
Which is like a spec level.
Their Turbo SE.
Yes. There's been a couple press releases on the Emira.
Okay.
The latest one they've launched, it's nothing revolutionary. They launched a couple of new colours, like a green and a purple. Don't know if you saw them. The purple looks awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Because the current dark metallic green is lovely. Looks really good with tan leather and stuff. It's coming back to Longbow somewhat, and I try not to make everything about Longbow because I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. But that was supposed to be a 50, 60 grand sports car that's ended up being 80, 90.
Mm-hmm.
That would have hit the market perfectly at 60, 65 grand. It just didn't. It couldn't hit that mark.
Yeah. And what's in the Emira? 1.4, 1.5 ton?
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
And under 1.5 with a big V6 in it. Fair enough. So hopefully some hybrid turbo 4-pot activity from Lotus.
Chances are Mercedes led again, I guess, with having...
Yeah.
You'd imagine so.
Yeah, you'd imagine, wouldn't you? Yeah. M2CS, I'm sure you've seen this.
Ducktail spoiler.
Thoughts?
So I'm still not completely sold on the M2. Again, based on weight, 1.8 kilos. And I know people say it handles well and you don't feel it as it's still 1.8, 1.9 ton. You just, it doesn't matter what you do.
Weight's weight. Yeah.
Weight's weight. So for that reason, still not a crazy fan of the car. I wouldn't go purchase one myself. A, because of price, and B, because of weight, amongst other things. And the looks. I'm still, sometimes I really like it, sometimes I really don't. But that ducktail spoiler is cool.
I don't want to be controversial, but it's almost too big. Almost too big.
Yeah.
It's when you look at it too long, it's a bit like, wow, that's quite a difference. I've got a problem with, again, this is controversial as well. I've got a problem with those really multi-spoke wheels. I think from what I recall, that kind of style came in the M8 competition. Do you remember? Quite a few years ago. I prefer the fewer spoked, older wheels.
I still really like the quite basic, like 2014, it's F80 M4, that kind of, is it like 5 double spoke?
Yeah, it comes on the OG M2 as well.
Yeah. Like it.
And you think to the last M2 CS, the wheels on that, I mean, they're stunning. The wheels just don't do it for me personally. I know it's not everyone's taste, and a lot of people do like it. A lot more power though. I think like 525, something like that.
Really?
So that's quite a step up. And a few other bits jumped in there. The interior looks quite cool. A few different bits and bobs in there.
I don't hate it. I mean, sometimes I look at, especially that ducktail spoiler, and I think, great. Do you know what the price is?
I don't. I think it's probably like 70, 80
This is
grand.
the other thing, though, isn't it? This is the 2 Series BMW. If you really knock it down to that, new BMW,
I guess 80
M2
odd grand
CS price, starting at £86,800. So by the time you spec it, you're going to be in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
for a 2 Series. For a sporty 2 Series.
That's more expensive than the old M5 was.
Come on.
Yes.
This isn't attainable. This is supposed to be the entry-level sports car from
a
mainstream
CS,
brand.
Though, in fairness, it's not meant to be attainable. It was meant to be a pretty special model. Although, what's the standard
Limited
M2?
numbers, is it?
65?
Let's have a look. Starting at 68.8. So still, but again, by the time you've actually added it, because you've got to option, probably seat belts, seats, wheels, you're going to be...
It's a bit scary.
well over 70 grand
Mm.
for an entry-level sports car.
Whilst on the subject of BMW, did you see the Speed Top, which launched at the same time as the M2 CS?
No, please tell me more.
So this is another one of these limited runs that BMW done. And in essence, it's kind of the, I think they hinted at what are they called?
Like a shooting brake.
Shooting brake. It's
did-
kind of that.
They did like the Z4 shooting brake, and that looked amazing,
Yeah,
didn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Was it Concours d'Elegance, something that they released?
That's it, yeah. That's when they launched this one as well this year.
This is like a really ugly version of that.
Yes.
This kind of makes a contender for today's ugliest car. It's kind of quite topical.
It doesn't work, does it?
Is this a genuine thing that's going to be made?
Yes, 70 units. V8. It's got a V8 there. But it's not for me, design-wise.
Oh, it's only £430,000.
How much?
£430,000.
400.
I think so.
Wow.
Let's just double check that before we get, I don't know, sued by BMW.
Don't think they watch us.
No, I lie. It's £500,000.
500
Sorry,
grand.
my bad. So it's an M8. It's based on an M8. So it's an M8 with a really ugly shooting brake design for £500,000.
Limited edition, though.
Yeah, it was only 17. It's got a V8, mate. So yeah, go and buy one. Yeah.
Worth it.
I was going to
Good
swear.
consumer advice.
Jesus.
Toyota GR Corolla production has moved somewhat to the UK. And so my only note under this is I propose a heist. Because there's no other way we can get one. So they've got a factory, is it Swindon? I can't remember where. They produced a normal Corolla.
Yes.
Now they're now producing some of the GR Corolla.
But we can't have it in the UK.
But we can't have the GR
So they're going to
Corolla.
make it in the UK, but you can't have it.
Yeah. Most of it goes to the American market. Why did they never give us that car?
I don't know.
Really frustrating.
Because it sells really well everywhere else.
Yeah, I think US it does really well. So that's a car that we should have had.
Heist it is.
Exactly. New Bentayga Speed Bentley. So this launched a couple of weeks after the new DBX S.
Which I do like
So
the look of.
Two direct competitors there, really.
Yeah.
So 650 PS, 3.4 seconds to 60. It's not bad for a car like that, is it?
Wow.
It's absurd. I've got another note here. Optional Akrapovic exhaust.
On your
In brackets.
Bentayga.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's
On a Bentayga. It's just funny, isn't it? An Akrapovic exhaust on a Bentayga.
Yeah, that is a bit strange.
Yeah. Turns into an elbow delete car. We've got Le Mans this weekend.
We have
24 hours. Have you seen the new Valkyrie for it? 10 production units for private customers. It looks shit hot.
It does.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to hear that
Yeah.
AMR Valkyrie.
It probably won't do very well, but
Mate.
yeah. It looks really
How
good.
has it done so far on the WEC? I haven't really kept up with it.
Like I say, I don't think it's won much.
No.
No, from what I've seen, it's competed pretty competitively.
It just sounds good.
I
I
don't
think
think
anyone
it's done
cares
any
where it comes. They're just glad it's on the track and sale.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, I'll just go. We need to go one. Yeah,
we do.
big time. I don't know where. I wouldn't even know where to start though. We do the whole weekend. I don't know.
We'll figure that out. It's
Yeah.
a bit like the Nürburgring. I had a good chat with someone today about going to the ring. We desperately need to get across to the ring.
Big time. And those are most of my stories, I think, apart from the Nissan Micra that weighs over 1.5 tons.
So yeah, to recap, a load of heavy and expensive cars.
Proving our point.
Back on theme.
And a 500 grand BMW.
Wow, what is happening? Longbow, can you please hurry up? Come on, oh my God.
We need to be more positive.
Oh my God, we do. If only we had more stories like Longbow.
Yeah. So that's the news.
That's the news.
Yep.
Nice little recap.
Do you want to go on to Ugliest Car Design?
Let's do it.
I've been itching at the bit.
You've been wanting to do this. Before we even thought of doing a podcast, you were like, just whatever we do, can we just do an ugly car
Yeah.
list?
I need to fume.
I'm interested to see how many of the cars we have are the same.
Yeah. There's different ways of looking at it, isn't there? There's a lot of conventionally and objectively ugly cars. But I wanted to think outside the box and think what really gets on my nerves.
Yeah, also, there's a load of cars out there that if you research, you've never heard of that are just dog ugly that someone's made in their shed. So I've tried to somewhat discount those.
No one can relate to that. Yeah.
Exactly. There might be some controversial ones in here. I have a hypercar.
I technically do as well.
I have some sports cars, I have some hatchback. I've got a bit of everything, actually. I haven't got a supercar.
You haven't, no?
No, I haven't got a supercar, I don't think. No. I'm sure I could try and think of one off the top of my head if we need to. But
when I first asked this question to you and I started thinking about it, I must admit the first two countries that come to my mind are France and America. Are you on the same vibe?
Yes.
They have produced some pretty poor cars amongst some nice ones.
I have some Japanese. I have some German. I have some Korean. I have some British. Usually the Brits are quite good at... Yeah, it's somewhat of an old one. Because I tried to... There's a lot of older ugly cars as well. Yeah. I've got a couple of new cars that are very ugly too. I know you're going to agree with one of them.
Hit me with your first one. By the way, we should say that we're going to list both of ours. We're going to collate our answers and pick a top three.
We'll convene on a top three. So there's this new BMW Speed Top. Have you seen it? Okay. I don't know where to start.
Hit me. First one. I've got a list of 5 and I've got some honourable mentions.
I've just got about 8 or 9 cars, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with the first one. Got here. The Nissan Cube.
It's really, really bad.
It is an eyesore.
Yeah.
When you see him on the road.
I mean, if Postman Pat was Japanese.
It's not good.
Yeah, they're pretty tragic. It's one of those cars where you just look at it and you're like, what were you thinking?
I think maybe it makes more sense. If you were in Tokyo or Japan, I think, or maybe even China, if you're over there, you probably see it and it probably makes more sense and is less offensive. But it's very offensive when you see it in Bolton on the Water.
Yeah. It's not... Am I right in thinking it's not symmetrical at the back?
No, I don't think it is. No.
No, exactly.
It goes all the way around.
It's got one pillar and then a window that goes around one side. It's a bit like the Discovery when they put the number plates.
Yeah, that Disco 5. Yeah. Although that did grow on me. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oof. Yeah.
Good.
In a weird kind of way, it's kind of curved quite nicely. It doesn't insult my eyes. I just look at it and just think, what's happened?
No, I get pretty offended by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in many aspects. Would you say it's a valid contender?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that would be a top 3, but it's definitely up there. It didn't cross my mind.
Really?
It didn't cross my mind.
Interesting. What have you got?
First one for me. This one's personal. Honda FRV.
Is that the one with the weird rear arches that cut over the wheel?
I don't think so. So this is Honda's version of the Fiat Multipla. It's a 6-seater.
That just made me think of hold on.
Let me show you it quick. I hate it so much. Do you know that car?
Yes. Well, that reminds me, Honda. I kept seeing the Honda. I think it was the new Jazz, and I thought every single one of them had been crashed at the front because the front bonnet comes flat and then up like this.
Is it?
I'll show it for you. Hold on. Let me just try and find the car. No, okay. Let me find 2022.
I don't think the Honda Jazz.
Honda
it's not a nice looking Jazz.
Yes, look. It looks like every single one of them has parked itself in a wall.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah. I never noticed that before.
Look.
It's very flat at the front. Wow.
It's been crashed.
It probably has. It is a Honda Jazz.
Every single... They all look like they've been crashed, front end tapped.
Yeah. Apart from that, it's not that offensive though, is it?
It's not that bad. But yeah, that front bonnet I found very ugly.
So the Honda FRV, this is how much it offends me. In primary school, one of my fellow pupils, her mum had a Honda FRV, and it was probably a new car then. And even at the time when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I just thought, what is that? Why does it have 6 seats?
What are you doing?
Why? It's just so bad.
This is the Honda. I can't remember what it's called. But it's got like rear wheel sit. Have you seen one of those before? I need to find out what it's called. Can someone comment, please, what it's called?
You don't know what it's called?
No.
You've got a picture of it.
I've got pictures of it, but nobody knows what it's called. It's that ugly. I think no one's asked.
It was that bad, though.
So
just like let's just not name this one. Let's not bring an official names to the world.
So yeah, whatever that's called. I hate it so much. Honda, what are you doing?
So, does the FRV offend you?
Not as much as it does you.
No.
It's not great.
Yeah, I think that one, like I say, it's personal.
That one's personal for you.
Yeah.
If on the topic of Honda, the 2001 to 2005, I think, Civic Type R.
Really?
I've always found it so ugly. I hate it so
the
much.
EP3?
I don't know what it's called.
I think that's its model name.
Yeah, 01 to 05. The interior's okay.
I completely disagree with you there. I think that's quite a cool car.
No, I've always hated it so much.
It's chavvy.
I've never understood why someone's looked at that and thought, I'll spend money on that. Not gone. It's just
it's definitely a Marmite car.
Don't they call it shoebox? Or just shoe? I don't know what it's called. Either way, it's just freaking ugly.
I think you'll offend a few people with that.
I really don't like it.
I don't mind them.
No. You get all these new Larry, especially not the latest Civic Type R, but the previous one with the weird back end. And
yes.
I find that way less offensive than that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I really don't like the 01 to 05. So that might be a controversial one, but that's on there for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
On the topic of Honda, what else you got?
It's not a Honda. It's a Skoda. This one is the Granny Starter Pack. This is probably the car that infuriates me the most when I see it on the road, and you just see a lot of them on the road. It's the Skoda Roomster. You'll know exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Stupid side. What is going on with the B pillar? That is awful, isn't it?
Now I don't look at them too much, but now you showed me
what is going on.
That's bad. Yeah, that's not good.
I think that would hold the crown as the ugliest car from the side.
From the side, it's definitely going to be a good contender. That's bad. Yeah, that is bad. Nothing makes sense. The size of the windows. Usually, the front window and the rear window, the bottom line is this, and the top line is the same.
I don't know why they've done it. What's the game?
Doesn't it make you think, though, how do they go through production or design and go, yeah, that's going to pass. We're going to make thousands of those now.
That's
just
been signed
not one
off.
person go, hang on a second.
That's been signed off by multiple people. So that's a big one for me.
I'm going to go slightly newer.
Okay.
Hyundai Ioniq 6.
I completely agree.
What an ugly car.
Completely agree. It's just... It gives me Volkswagen Beetle vibes, but stretched. It's got that triple bubble.
It's just disgusting.
There's one that parks near me.
And I look at it every time you get
Yeah, I look at it a lot and just think, why would you do that?
Have you got anything slightly newer?
I do. I've got I won't pull this card out now. This is very I think it's very controversial.
Let's see.
It's the Gordon Murray T50.
Ooh. Okay.
Precisely the back end.
The rear end.
The front end's, you could draw, a 10-year-old could draw it. There's no design to it. It's just lights and a front bonnet.
And even at that, it's definitely not a pretty car.
No.
From any angle.
The rear end is just so uninspiring. And I get it. There's a fan that apparently does something, downforce something.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, it definitely works. But like you say, it's not good looking. But from any angle. But the F1, is.
Yeah.
The F1's a good-looking car.
Mm.
The T50,
Absolutely.
you don't look at it and go, that's drop-dead gorgeous.
And I'll tell you why I included the T50. Because proportionally, cost to ugliness, that's got to be the ugliest car in the world.
It's got to be up there.
What are they, £2 million?
I have a contender.
How much is a T50?
Bugatti Veyron.
Oh, that's controversial.
I think, and I've never liked them, I think they're ugly.
That is controversial. I don't think they've aged well, I'll give you that.
I didn't like them from day one.
It's pretty ugly when you look at it now.
It's pretty ugly.
Pretty ugly. That's what I'm saying. I think the Chiron's a good looking car.
When that came out, price per ugliness,
yeah,
that it may have been superseded by the T50.
Mm.
But I find that quite offensive.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bulbous. It's like what's that really ugly dolphin? Like or the beluga whale.
Yeah. What, the big forehead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I see a Bugatti Veyron. It should be called the Bugatti Beluga.
That's quite a nice name, actually.
Yes, it's kind of.
It's a shame it represents an ugly dolphin. You know what? I actually do agree to a certain extent with that. I would say, on face value, that's an uglier car than the 250.
Thank you for agreeing.
What the hell?
Yeah,
You're
it's one that goes under the radar.
This has got to be top 3.
Here we go.
And it might be on your list as well.
I'll be really intrigued to know, is it anyone, the 3 people that might be listening, hi mum, their ugliest cars? Because this has got to inspire some hatred.
100%. Right, here we go. Chrysler PT Cruiser, but not any...
Convertible.
Convertible.
It's on my list.
I mean, that looks like a clown car.
It's horrendous.
That looks like something a clown out of The Simpsons would drive.
To rival that, I think it was the end of the Grand Tour Carnage Artois.
Oh, yeah.
The Citroen C3 Plurial.
I've got that. I've got it on my list.
That is awful.
Yes. And you could take the roof pillars off or something.
Bars, yeah. I'm sure that's the car they slingshotted across the channel.
Well, they tried to, and it went about 50 meters. Yes, that is such a bad looking car.
That's horrendous.
Yes.
You can't go, and you've somewhat mentioned it, the Fiat Multipla. That was the first car that I ever truly hated the look of.
Yeah.
As maybe a 5 or 6 year old, it is the first car, my first nemesis was the Fiat Multipla.
It's offensive to your eyes.
I had a friend in school whose parents had one. I didn't realise until, the typical, you're in, I don't know what you are, 5, 6 years old, reception year 1. You go over their house. You're having a play date. Amazing. Can't wait. Going to go over. His name was Ben. He's in Clinton's as well, so it was around here. I'm sure his name was Ben. And I got picked up in one of those, and I'd never seen one before. I spent the entire time contemplating life and why someone might do this, questioning all of mine and their life decisions at 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
And it was an eye opener. It was quite an experience. And I don't think I was friends with him for long after that.
No, you just bit him off, don't you? You only got a car like that. What's the point?
Not his fault either, which is a hell thing. But
is what it is, mate.
Sorry, bud.
Sorry, mate. Your car's cooked.
Yeah.
I think the interior of those is as bad as the exterior.
I had to sit on the middle seat in the front as well. Nightmares.
That is PTSD kind of stuff.
Yeah, that generational trauma. It's going to be passed down.
But we've always said if we had the money or we would produce content for a living, we would still want to buy a Fiat Multipla and do it up.
What confuses me is the amount of, granted, older people and journalists that love them. I just don't understand. Genuinely.
What?
Like very well-known journalists and car enthusiasts and car collectors.
They must just be memeing. Surely.
No, they're genuinely.
I'm very
so
surprised.
now I need to drive one.
Yeah. See what it's like.
Just to really know what true hatred is.
Yeah.
Do you want another slightly controversial and fairly new one?
Sure, please.
Ineos Grenadier.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, you look at a Defender and you think happy thoughts are nice things. It's very British and it's nice. And it's proportionally very good. The Ineos Grenadier just misses out everywhere. It's very boxy. I don't know. I can't put an exact thing on. The lights aren't great and they're quite spaced apart. It's like when you see someone that's ugly and you can't quite tell why. It's just all of it is quite ugly.
Yeah.
Not that there's any one thing that's crazy offensive, like any one feature. Just all of it.
It's all just missing the mark a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it snowballs.
Yeah.
But I've never looked at that car and thought, wow, that's ugly.
I do. I actually saw one.
Each to their own, Tom.
Especially when it comes at you head on. It's particularly ugly. And it's kind of, do you know, like when his eyes are too far apart.
We won't be interviewing their CEO anytime soon now. I think that's too far, that one.
He's definitely got better things to be doing. I have one last contender.
Please.
That I know you've seen one of these. It's not a car that everyone's going to have seen. However, there is one of these that I've only ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it many a times because one resides in Kenilworth, our local town.
Mm.
And it is. I didn't even know it was a Nissan, but a Nissan S-Cargo. There's a yellow one in Kenilworth. You have to have seen it. It's been there for years.
I've seen one of these before. Yes, I have seen one of these before. Has it got that little side window? Is it like church glass?
Yes.
I've seen it at Sainsbury's.
What?
Is it a milk van?
What is it?
What is it?
Please, anyone that hasn't seen this, Google Nissan S-Cargo. I don't understand.
Well.
I thought this was just one car that a man had made in his shed.
Holy shit.
Who was a hoarder.
Oh no, there's a commercial version of it as well. With Steelies.
I don't understand. If it was like a G-Wiz or some obscure... This is Nissan.
Oh, that's bad.
And I wouldn't have
They're
thought
like pop-up
of it.
headlights, but they don't pop down.
Do you know how long I tried to find this car for? Because I've seen it.
Yeah, you didn't even know what brand it was.
Because there's no badge on it.
No.
It looks like someone's made it in their shed, and I'm like, surely not.
Oh my God.
I spent way too long than I care to admit to try and find that car.
My brother sent me a picture. I'm pretty sure my brother sent me a picture of that once and made a joke about it. Something like delivering at 3 and church at 5. Because it had like the church windows on the side. It was that exact car that you've seen.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
Yeah, man. I've only ever seen one in my life.
That's well up
But
there.
it is a production vehicle.
It is,
yes.
Did anyone buy it enough to be production
So
of
I
it?
found out how many were made.
While she searched that,
how many? You watch, there'd be 15 grand as well.
go on in. I want to hear this now.
I'm going to try and find how many were made. They made... The production ended in 1991.
I actually thought it was newer than that.
12,000 units were made.
12,000 poor decisions made. Do you want me to go through my Citroens on my list?
How many have you got?
Citroens plural. This is what I was saying earlier. So we've got the Citroen Picasso. You know what one of those are, don't you?
Of course.
Just been forever ugly. It's never looked good at any point in time. The Citroen Cactus.
That's pretty horrific.
I mean, tell me you're a bad driver without telling me you're a bad driver. You need plastic on the side in case you crash it. What's that for?
It's for when you get out at the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, opening
bash
your door.
someone else's door, and it doesn't matter. Yours is made of fucking plastic.
What a stupid invention.
Nissan S-Cargo, price on application.
Price and application.
There's one here for $6,000.
What? There must be a collector item.
Mate, limited edition, one of only 12,000.
You'll like this. Citroen E-Mahari.
Ooh, that's ugly.
What is it? Is it trying to be a Jeep?
It's trying to be ugly.
That's really... Oh, it's not actually too bad from the back end. That's bad.
It's not good. Well, you can take the windows out.
It's like a Jimny without the roof, but it's got a Citroen badge, so
It's like a shit French chimney.
Yeah, that's bang on. And this was the last one I had in my top 5 list, was Citroen C0.
C0, please
Now,
enlighten me.
You'll probably remember this from, I believe they covered it on Top Gear.
I think there's an element of this that you try and block out past trauma from your life, don't you? Especially when you're going through school and you're influenced by these things. I think you try and forget those things, don't you?
Yeah. You put them in the back of your
A
mind.
bit like ugly girlfriends, you try and pretend that they didn't happen.
There's the Citroen C0.
Well, that's bad. I don't think I've ever seen one of them.
You've never seen one? I'm pretty sure they covered it on Top Gear.
Did they?
Honestly, it's probably narrower than your motorbike. I don't know how you get 2 people in there, side by side. And so there was...
Why is the screen so long?
What is going on? It's an EV. It's one of like these early EVs.
Okay.
I mean, its EV tech's probably aged like milk in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
And so have the looks.
Yeah. That screen's interesting.
There's a house near my parents that has...
No.
They have a 2-car garage. They have a Citroen C0. And this is probably contender for the worst 2-car garage.
I was about to say, Ugliest
possible.
2-car garage is going to be next episode.
Citroen C0
Yeah.
and a Fiat Doblo.
Oh, no.
That's their 2-car garage. Not the commercial one,
Oh.
the passenger one.
That's bad.
You just wonder what's going through their heads. So, I think we've got a pretty good shortlist there, right?
It's quite a long list, but yeah.
So we now need to pick 3. Should we start with pick out what seems the most obvious to us?
As the 3 most ugly cars
Production cars ever
made.
Yep.
Okay. Give me one of your top contenders.
For me, the Skoda Roomster's got to go in.
You feel that strongly about the Skoda Roomster?
Really, really do. The side profile.
Bearing in mind, we have PT Cruiser convertible,
But that's
Citroen
definitely
C
going in.
Plurial, the S Cargo. I don't know. Top 5. I don't know if it makes
Fair
top
enough.
3.
No, fair enough. Let's the Chrysler PT Cruiser convertible.
That's yeah.
It's going in. I don't know
100%.
whereabouts. That's definitely going in.
Let's say that's number 3.
Fiat Multiple is a very obvious choice. Is it too obvious?
It's the car that I have been most offended by my entire life. One's not high enough a rank for that car, so we'll call that one champion of the ugly cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got 1, 2,
Cool.
3. Okay, so that just wins. Always does.
Always
Because
will.
maybe it's not objectively the most ugly car, but it's by far the most offensive car for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
So the Chrysler PT Cruiser convertible. It's definitely got a firm spot in there.
100%.
What else are you thinking?
C3 Plurial or Pluriel.
Is that the one with you take the pillars off? Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm pretty happy to put that in there as well.
I would vouch for the S Cargo to be in there too.
Is that the Nissan? Yeah. There's something about that car that
You like it?
it's just so small and stupid that it's kind of got some character to it. Don't you think? Its design doesn't offend me. It's just like cute.
Okay. We've got 2 of the ugliest cars ever made that I think will never be disputed.
Yeah.
They're up there.
Yeah.
Always will be. If we're going to go for maybe a more modern or controversial car to throw in the top 3,
You say Bugatti Veyron. That's. I mean, there will be. I mean, if anyone watched this, there would be a riot. But
good thing nobody.
yeah, the Bugatti Veyron. I just can't do that, and nor could I do the 250 because it doesn't deserve to be.
Ioniq 6.
Yeah, I hate that car, man.
I hate that car.
Really,
That's
do.
not a good car. We're throwing around some strong words here, like hate, but it's pretty bad.
Right, so
actually,
hold on,
the rear end of the BMW iX2 should be up there as well. That's
pretty bad.
bad.
That's pretty bad. Again,
This is so hard to shortlist to 3 cars.
Let's be democratic here. So we both had the PT Cruiser.
Indeed.
Yeah. You selected the Mitsubishi. Was it Citroen?
A Citroen C3.
Citroen C3.
You had that as well.
I didn't actually have it written down.
Oh, did you?
But I come across it. Sorry, I didn't actually have that written down.
Okay.
So I think we picked one of mine. That's okay.
What about the...
So we've got the Honda FRV.
Yeah, that's quite a
But that's a personal one.
Yeah.
Skoda Roomster. T50. Citroen C0. Fiat Doblo. Citroen Picasso. Citroen E-Mahari. Citroen Cactus.
Out of all those?
So I've got...
I'm actually going to give you the Roomster.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it deserves to be in there.
Now, the next one we're going to do is cars with the worst drivers.
Cars with the worst drivers, yes.
Cars with the
That's
worst
a good
drivers.
shout. That is a good shout.
So, Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model S, Tesla Model 3. No, sure.
Yourself included then.
There is, I think there is a trend with, or there certainly was a trend between bad drivers in electric cars.
Yes.
There was definitely a higher proportion of bad drivers.
Yeah.
And actually, my dad asked a good question. And he said, is that because bad drivers are drawn to buying electric cars? Or is that because there's so many assists and technology in these electric cars, it distracts you from driving, and therefore you do bad things in electric cars? Previous to me owning and driving an EV, I would have said, obviously, bad drivers are just drawn to EVs. And that may still be the case. But he's got a point.
Mm-hmm.
With all this auto driving and technology that's in them, it is a distraction, and you can rely on it too heavily, and then it just decide that it doesn't want to do what you've asked it to do, and just cancels. And then you have to save it, or you haven't touched the steering wheel within 30 seconds, and so it just goes, meh.
Mm.
And then you're mid-corner, and you've got to catch it and save it, and it looks like you're a really bad driver.
Mm.
So there is an element of that.
Yeah, I think we could do a whole section on it, couldn't we?
I think we could.
Yeah, I agree. I think cars are becoming more and more harder to just drive.
Yeah.
Rather than focusing on all the technology and sensors.
Likewise, going over to Spain, we get hire cars. The last one I had was a Skoda Kodiaq.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, I guess, maybe X1 sort of size.
Yeah, it's like small SUV.
Small
yeah.
crossover. Kind of, it probably similar to the Mitsubishi ASX sort of size.
Yeah.
Not a bad car, actually. Wasn't bad at all. But, lane assist. If you don't indicate to change lane, the steering will fight you.
You should be indicating, to be fair.
What if no one's there?
Mm. That's just
Who am I indicating
yeah.
to? So, when you haven't driven in Spain for a while or another country, it can, or it can be a bit confusing. If you're back and forth quite a bit, it does confuse me sometimes.
Mm.
Especially if there's no lines. I'll be here driving on the wrong side of the road, more so than being over in Spain. Worse when I come back here, weirdly. Maybe because I'm really thinking about it when I'm over there, and you kind of back in autopilot over here.
Yeah.
But you've got to turn off so many speed and lane assists every single time.
Yeah.
And they're dangerous if you forget to do it and you go to drive normally.
You're just pissing around, yeah.
And it does something that's really dangerous. Auto brakes or fights you in the steering when you're trying to do something. It's proper unnerving.
Yeah. Yeah, it just puts you on edge a bit, doesn't it? With the when I had my Corolla, I had the auto brake, and you're just trying to get close to somewhere to park up, and it just thinks you're about to crash into it.
The Tesla had a hissy fit. We were in a McDonald's car park, and we were reversing out of the car park space, and where it was a no park area, because like where you reverse back out kind of comes into the drive-through lanes, and so it was a yellow cross section, like no park here sort of thing, no stopping. And because it saw a hard yellow line, we were reversing out and it slammed the brakes.
Really?
It's the only time it's done it where there's times where I know it's going to not like something, so I'm prepared for it. Like a corner that's too tight. But that one caught me out. That one did make me go, ooh, you're never fully in control.
Puts you on edge a bit, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah. So maybe we cover that in a future episode.
This is a weird analogy. But imagine having a dog, a puppy. It grows up. You think, oh, this dog's great. I really like this dog. And then it bites you. You'll never trust it again fully.
Not fully.
So you'll never have the same bond or relationship with it. Again, you can't. You never fully trust it.
You love an analogy, don't you? It's
I
quite
think
good.
I
can't even argue with that, but it's just funny, yeah.
I made that one on the spot.
That's pretty good, mate. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point. We'll cover it at some point.
Nice.
I think quickly we had a couple Ubers on Saturday, didn't we? A couple Prius drivers.
Mate.
Fucking hell, they're bad. I mean, for a start, it's more just they don't look at the sat navs. Took so many wrong turns.
That, and then when you're going down a dual carriageway in the right-hand lane doing 35 miles an hour, when undertaking way is dangerous.
Yeah. Anyway, you had a quick query from a listener, didn't you?
I did. Excuse me.
Was that it?
That was it. We have those listeners.
Do we?
Yeah,
okay.
We've got a couple.
Good.
Yeah. One of them's called Joe.
Okay. Not me.
Not you. Joe asked a question. Joe's 19. And he's just sold his 2.7 Boxster 987. Lovely car. And he managed as a name driver to get insurance for under insurance for under $2,500. He subsequently sold the car because he got offered far more than he paid for the car and was silly not to sell the car. So he sold the car, as any one of us would have. So now he's looking for a replacement. Let me read you the message. So we've got full context. So, Joe, 19-year-old Joe. So, ideally, he's looking for something for 250 brake horsepower, preferably 300. Has to have enough room to put a few bits in the back for like odd jobs and stuff. So it needs rear seats, but that's about as practical as it needs to be. So not overly practical, but practical enough by having rear seats. That's enough. 15k budget, but can stretch should it just be the perfect or right car. Preferably 2013 and newer. With an insurance budget of £2,500 a year. Happy to be name driver.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I thought, okay, quite precise, which I like. You know what you want. Great. Pushing 300 brake horsepower might be tough, but if you've had a Boxster 2.7, it's probably 240, something like that. So you want a little bit more power than that. Need it slightly more practical than that. And you've got a budget of 15k or so, which makes it slightly harder when you include the 2013 onwards. However, I thought we might be able to come up with something. The caveat being insurance for $2,500 on a 300-ish horsepower car at 19 years old.
It was impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious contenders minus the insurance were S3s, M135Is, TTSs, even an S5. Yeah, an S5.
Yeah, but even some obscure stuff. Aston Martin DB7, Jaguar XKR.
Yeah.
These are all within budget, fit the bill, maybe not from an age point of view, but if you want more power, bigger engine size, all those sort of things, insurance is the caveat. Every single
We thought
time.
it was bad when we were 19, right?
Well, we thought maybe because I was using Confused and Compare the Market. We tried two. We had him as name driver and just main driver. We tried different main drivers. And then just to kind of make sure that the quotes we were coming out with weren't ludicrous, we tried just a standard A1.
A1.
And that came out at like 1,300 quid or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, it's not that. It's the Family 19.
It's brutal.
Brutal. If you want anything other than a bog basic car.
Basically, the short answer is you should have kept your box down.
Yeah, if you got a good insurance quote on that, then...
Yeah, so that's it anyway. When you're that age, you just got to fiddle around and wait till you get a good quote.
And I forget about it. But because we're now 26?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Insurance dropped massively, 25. And that's painful when you're 19. 25 seems like it's a long way. Yeah. Way away.
Yeah. Like I say, insurance aside, I think even an i30N
was my favourite choice.
Yeah, that was my favourite as well. I think that came out like $6,000, didn't it?
Yeah.
If you could find a loophole where you could get an i30N, I would very much recommend that. Our friend Tom had one.
It's a good car.
Great car. Pretty new. Plenty of power. It auto blips on the downshift.
Sounded great.
Sounds awesome. Nice interior.
And it's a bit off the wall, maybe not the right term, but it's not quite as mainstream as any of the other sporty hatchbacks or
exactly.
Sporty cars.
I thought that was a nice outside pick over something like an S3, which is going to be faster, but
also bear in mind, up until the point where you can get cheaper insurance, and it does come down into your early 20s. It's not...
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you're 25. It will come down as you get older. For the budget that you've got at $2,500 a year on insurance, buy something cheap, get it insured really, really cheap. For $2,500, you can go and buy a good MX-5 to go and do track days in.
Yeah.
That's an entire another car for your annual insurance budget.
And
you'll have way more fun.
Because insurance is you're just chucking money down the drain. You really are. Like, fair enough, buying a $15,000 car is a lot of commitment, but that's an asset.
And I get it. I do get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the other hand, if you look at what my brother's done, he's got a good insurance quote now, and he's 20. His insurance quote, he's got an R53 Mini that he's doing lots of modifications on. It's quick, granted, older, but it's bloody quick.
It's a great car.
Maybe not overly practical, but it has got back seats and a very small boot. Looks great, sounds great, goes well, supercharger. And he bought that for $5,000 with 40,000 miles on.
It's as much fun as you can have, like British Beat Red.
Yeah.
Cheap and cheerful.
So maybe it's not quite what you wanted from us. I'm sorry we couldn't be of more help. We did try.
i30N, if you could get a good insurance quote, is our final verdict. But
that's tough. I mean, just insurance as a young driver sucks in the UK.
I mean, Joe joined us on that Wales trip we did recently, didn't he? And
he did.
That box was stunning.
Lovely.
Great condition.
Sounded good.
And, he got more than he paid for it, so don't blame him.
You can't blame him.
That was a really good car.
It was. The other option is to go classic. Classic. Insurance is still cheap. So, yeah.
How old's classic?
Old. But you can get some cool stuff.
Have a little mooch.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry we couldn't come up with the perfect solution. You're in a tough spot there, given the criteria you've set. You might have to adjust that slightly.
Look forward to seeing what you get.
Yeah, keep us in the loop. Let us know, and I'll still keep looking, because you never know. The problem with insurance as well, my little brother, with his R53, tried to get a quote, and he was paying $2,500 a year, and with change of age, had another no years, no claims bonus. So who would have thought it was going to come down, and it didn't. He changed the plate on his car to private reg, and insurance quotes were coming out even more expensive. So he's thinking, what am I going to do? I can't afford this.
For a number.
He had a previous quote in, you have like previous ones saved of his old reg. Used that. The insurance came out at £1,600.
Really?
And then just called it with insurance and went, I've changed my reg.
That's it, innit? It's shit. You got to play the game. You just got to
find
a
some reason
in some setting.
Having a private reg changed insurance by £1,000.
I hate the insurance companies. They just pluck a number out in there, don't they?
It's a total rip-off. Yeah. The whole thing. The whole system needs to be rehauled.
It does. Really does.
So in Spain and other countries, I think America's the same. I think much of Europe is. You insure, is it the car or the driver? Either way, you do it very differently to how we do it.
Yeah, I remember you saying on a previous.
So I think you said the driver.
No, I thought,
was it? No, you just insure the car.
I think you just insure the car, and then anyone can drive it or something. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's covered on the policy. Let's finish on a slightly lighter note. Our dream car garage.
Yes,
I've written this one this week, and it is pretty far fetched, but stay with me.
Let's go.
So, you're on your way from the UK to South Africa to collect your new supercar. Don't ask me why it's in South Africa, but it just is.
Okay.
But there's a catch. You're driving there. You'll need a car to traverse your way across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa to collect your new pride and joy. You'll face mountain roads, dry desert heat, and a variety of questionable road surfaces on the way. You've got £10,000 to buy a car capable of getting you there reliably, comfortably, and across all terrain that gets in your way. What car are you taking, and what supercar is there to meet you at the end of your journey? No budget on supercar.
You said I was going to be able to answer this quickly. There's a few elements there that are tough. Firstly, being something that's reliable enough and that's capable enough to get over that, then for 10 grand.
It's a tough budget. I wanted to go budget because otherwise you could just buy a new car that's good off-road and be easy enough.
We're going to have to cut this. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. Can you repeat the question?
Okay.
You can shorten it if you want. Just give us a quick recap.
So you're driving to South Africa to collect your new supercar.
Yeah.
For some reason. You've got to traverse your way there. You've got to drive there. And obviously you're going over the Alps. You're going through the Middle East. You're going through Central Africa. It's not going to be an exciting, well, it might be an exciting journey. It's not going to be easy. 10 grand to buy a car to get you there. I think the important things are reliability and comfort, right? And off-road capabilities, just in case. And then once you get there, you pick up your new supercar. Any budget, whatever supercar in the world that you want, it just can't be a hypercar.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I've got it. This is from experience as well.
Okay.
My car to traverse my way down there is a very reliable car. I know it'll handle all the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Is a 2001 to 2006.
Sold.
3-litre Nissan Patrol. It's the car we have in Spain. It's the car that we've had in the family for 20 years. It's never failed an MOT. It climbs through what is essentially the Sierra Nevada desert, the Sierra Nevada mountain range, not desert, every day. Has done for 20 years. And has never really skipped a beat.
No, that's a pretty good car.
And it gets some stuff thrown at it.
Yeah.
So, Nissan Patrol.
Nice.
I have a soft spot for that car. I like that car a lot. For my supercar, I thought long and hard about this because basically Porsche don't make supercar, they're all sports cars, if you really want to classify them.
Yeah.
Recently, I haven't been feeling too flashy.
Okay.
So, Ferraris and Lambos are out the window for me at the moment. But then I do like a V10. So I was thinking Audi R8, V10 Plus. I know it's not the most extravagant, but I think I'd be really happy driving that.
Mm-hmm.
The noise, it's just a very good car. And then I realised that the LFA is a supercar. So I've gone for an LFA. And if there's not going to be many cars that you're going to be willing to drive halfway across the road, the world for, I'd drive halfway across the world for an LFA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. It's such a no-brainer.
From a budgetless answer, I thought 458 Speciale. Because, like you said, you can't go sports car and you go hypercar.
Yeah.
It's got to be a supercar. I thought about F12 or F12 TDF. It's a GT car.
Mm.
More so than a...
I was thinking
still
TDF.
a supercar.
Yeah.
But I think it is still a supercar, but it is a GT car.
It's kind of hyper GT, isn't it?
Yeah. But if you're going to supercar...
You'd class it supercar, wouldn't you?
I think LFA.
Yes, that's a great shout. It's so crazy that Lexus made such a car that's just a heartthrob for so many people.
I like the LC500.
Yeah, me too.
That's a good looking car.
I've driven one of those very briefly, the V8. Not on public roads.
Okay.
So I didn't get to put it to the test, but I mean the quality of finish and that rumble from the V8 is a bit Aston Martin Vantage V8,
really?
But more refined and
I like
really
the RCF
nice.
As well. I like Lexus at the moment.
Yeah.
I do like
their SUVs are bloody again. I've driven the new NX and it's
but
brilliant.
they're quite good looking. They're not offensive. They've got some nice angles.
They're nice.
They actually look like a Lexus. Unlike a lot of these other brands where, like we were talking about before, you take the badges off and they just look like any other mid-size SUV. Mm. What was yours then?
I haven't picked, but off the top of my head, I would probably go. I'd love to take a Discovery, but I probably wouldn't even get to the bloody Eurotunnel, let alone Africa.
And the problem with that, you could probably pick up a pretty high mileage Discovery 4 and a Discovery 3. You're just never going to get there.
Right, it's just not happening.
Yeah,
I'd assume not. So I would probably go for an older pickup truck of some sort. Some double cab with the cover on the back so you can chuck all your bits and all your mechanical bits to repair it on the way there.
Nice.
So I'll probably go for a pickup truck. And then when I get there, my instant thought was actually an F12 TDF.
Mm.
Yeah, I've come back to those again recently.
I've always been obsessed with the F12.
Just unreal. And just the sound, mate, you just can't beat it. It's better than the Lambo V12 sound for me now.
I prefer an F12 over an 812 as well. I would. If someone said
standard F12, standard 812, I would actually go 812, I think. But TDF versus Competizione, definitely a TDF.
Really?
Without even a thought.
I'd go F12 all the way.
Yeah.
Okay, controversially, I might even go F12 over TDF.
Oh, that is a terrible take.
No, hear me out. For the same reason that I can enjoy an MX-5 on track more than someone in their £150,000 supercar.
It's still an F12.
TDF.
Still
how much is a TDF? $1 million? $2 million?
No. Well, yeah, upwards of $1 million probably, aren't they?
Here we go.
500 plus. We're waffling now.
They're big money, mate. TDF. For sale. Oh, no, mate, they're only 1.1 million. Oh, no, sorry, that's an 812 GTS. Could be more than that.
An 812 GTS, 1.1 million?
Yeah. TDF, 980,000.
Holy shit.
TDF, 850,000. Yeah. Whereas you can pick up a really nice F12 for 130, 140 grand.
You still wouldn't want to bin it, though. That engine's too aggressive.
No, there's a difference between a 150 grand car and a £1 million car.
That's just a terrible take. There's no defending that. You would pick the TDF. Come on.
If someone was giving me them, yes.
And you couldn't sell it. But if you crashed it, then you wouldn't be able to replace it. You'd pick an F12.
Yeah.
No. TDF all the way. Right, we're waffling.
On that bombshell. Yeah. Right, I think I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
We've waffled on enough.
I'm happy with that.
Good
Turn off the cameras.
I'm happy with the TDF take.
It's a bit of a revert from our last episode, which was a nice special.
Back to the usual nonsense.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks, we'll be back with a waffle.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
We might shake it up for the next one. We might do the whole bad drivers thing.
You kind of just pick the agenda, don't we, on the day? We've got ideas, but I thought today we'll get the ugly car list out of the way. I've fumed now. Got out the system.
Yeah, please let us know your ugly cars below, because they might even beat ours. Chances are they will.
Definitely missed a few in there, but
yeah,
I'll think of something on my drive home now.
Yeah, or you'll see something that infuriates you.
Yeah.
That's got to go on the list. Yeah, no, it's good. If you have watched, if you are still listening to us waffle on, what are you doing? Thank you so much for listening. We do urge you to go and listen to the TDEF with Longbow chat, because that was really good. Cool. That was actually okay. Nothing crap like this. That was actually that was quite good. Please go and listen to that, because that was really cool, and it is genuinely eye-opening if you are a petrol head, or just want to know what's going on in what we see as the next generation of sports cars. So really worthwhile listening to. Go follow the guys, Daniel and Mark, especially on LinkedIn. They've got some cool stuff on there, and they're pretty active. So they're also worth a look and a shout. We'll keep you informed of what's going on with Longbow. Hopefully with another one of those conversations.
That'd be good.
We'll keep an eye on those anyway. I've just subscribed to their newsletter on their website. So if you didn't, then we'll hear on there. Thank you for listening to Waffle Log again. We shall catch you in 2 weeks' time. You're going on holiday.
I am, yeah. I'll be back for the next episode.
Nice.
Make sure I'm back.
Lovely stuff.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.